watch it and test, make sure they can hear you again.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the House of Holocrons podcast, episode 12. This one is going to be all about the Old Republic. Well, I shouldn't say all about, because how are we not going to talk about the most recent episode of Andor? And I have to nerd out a little bit about the High Republic. So, first off, let's cover some of the stuff that's already happened. With Andor, this last episode, episode 6, the middle of the 12 episodes that we're going to be getting, was phenomenal to me. It's one of the most, edge of my seat, absolutely gripping, drama, action packed things I've seen in a while. And to me, it's some of the absolute best Star Wars I've ever seen, period.
Yeah, it was definitely built up to something, and it was a really big payoff. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, we really did get a heist. I was
Yeah.
hoping we would get a legit heist, and we did. We get what they were saying. It went. It was great. We get to see a lot of early Imperial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which is great. They kind of we get to see some of the kind of half stormtrooper uniforms
Yeah, those were
that you see
nice.
in Solo. You see
Mm-hmm.
similar to the Mud Troopers. There were some similar, um, with a mix of the Shore Troopers a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, it was very interesting. I know why they did it because they wanted to so you can see all the actors' faces and
Mm.
stuff, so they can still be in disguise. Makes sense, and they were able to pull it off, and also, because I get you got to keep the faces shown,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of acting involved, so it was a good
There was
compromise.
a lot of
And
acting all
yeah,
around.
A lot of good
yeah,
acting.
A lot of very good acting.
we
The
get to see the ritual.
mm-hmm.
That's kind of the prep and then the ritual.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it was a really good payoff. Way more people survived to the end than I thought would, even though one of them did not fully survive to the end. But of course, we're gonna get into spoilers because it's been on for a while. So just if you're not ready for it, sorry guys. You'll have to click a little bit later to get to the
Sorry,
Old
not
Republic
sorry.
stuff. Yeah. But this is really good payoff for a lot of things that have been building up in the series, and I feel like a lot of things were really met. Finding out that the guy was a stormtrooper, like that makes sense. So we're learning a
yeah.
lot more about people.
Well, it's also a good reminder, just in case you were thinking those soldiers we already have
Mhm.
seen aren't stormtroopers. It is a reminder that the stormtroopers are no longer clones now,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that we get to see confirmed non-clone stormtrooper. Just think, like I said, just in case you didn't think the other ones were technically
Mhm.
stormtroopers.
Oh yeah, I think right in the beginning of the Empire, there was a massive sign up. Everyone
Yeah,
signed up. They were already a gun ho woohoo Empire, but yeah, then it turned out to be evil.
Which I kind of wonder
yeah,
if, maybe they were already kind of having people enlist for non-clone stuff.
Oh sure. There was
well,
militias
Yeah.
and.
yeah. They had a like police force kind of
Mhm.
like a UN kind of because they had non-clones that did fight certain things, but they weren't so widespread. Widespread.
Yeah.
Um,
The point of the clones was to be able to just take a bunch of them and throw them at a problem.
Yeah.
And then I think a real incentive too is you got to understand the transition from the Republic credits to the Imperial
Hmm.
credits. So they changed a big money switch. I'm assuming I'm sure that a lot of people joined because it wasn't so easy to switch your money. So it
Yeah.
was a good way to make guarantee you got money. And plus, it's the whole idea. You see a big change in leadership, you want to jump on quick.
I love though how in this universe they don't have where we have identification codes on our money, and most banks are we know what money's in there, so if you steal it, we'll find you when you spend it. But for this, they're just no, it's just a big bar of printed stuff with some sigils on it, and that's what it is. And they stole a bunch. They stole a
Oh,
whole bunch.
I would love to see the actual number of how much
Well,
they.
remember when the one dickhead that I knew was a dickhead, but man, he turned out to be a real big
Yeah.
dickhead, was trying to leave and convince Cassian to kill the girl and the kid and just let him go. But
Yeah, as
what
a
was it,
yeah,
400,000 each or something?
big spoiler, Dan.
Some.
Yeah. I don't remember the amount to be honest. It was quite a bit. I thought
That's
he
a
said like
lot
40.
of credits.
I'm gonna
I thought he said like
guess they didn't
40,000
actually
It was
count
each.
it.
fourth. It was four something. I believe it was forty
I think
thousand.
it's
Yeah,
40,000 between the both of them, which
yeah.
is still a lot.
I mean, yeah,
Um,
there's a lot of
and,
credits.
and Cassian, of course, and he sees no way out of it. Because he wanted at that point he already was wanting to pull out, and and then I think he was afraid that if
Mm-hmm.
he left him there, he would end up killing the rest of the woman.
Oh, right,
So
right.
I think that's why he ended up killing him.
I can see
Also,
that.
probably just disgusted him. Let's
Yeah, he has at least some honor. I'm
I'm gonna
excited to see what is going to happen because eventually, um, the guy who got him all into this, I of course forgot his name after 1 week of not seeing him or hearing his name, but the guy who runs that like antique shop,
yeah.
he's going to come back into this and
yeah.
he's going to have to be like, where's Cassian? Oh, he took his share and split.
Well, the thing is, I don't think he really cares about the money,
Mm-hmm.
in the first place, which you see them cheering, because at the end of the episode, even though they didn't get away with what they wanted to,
Yeah, it was all over the
they
place.
hit the Empire decent chunk, but
Mm-hmm.
the moral victory of it being shared everywhere, the whole sparked the rebellion to
Right,
them.
exactly.
The first major hit that the Empire, publicly has taken.
And I mean, I would really like to know if this is actually that. Like, this is the first huge heist the Empire has actually been hit against that was galactically shared.
I'm gonna assume
That'd be
yes
awesome.
because of the
Yeah,
reaction.
that would make it a lot more important.
Yeah.
That would make it a really, really important thing. That'd be so cool.
Yep.
I liked at the end how they showed they're in the middle of the Senate hearing and how everybody's slowly sort of reacting. It almost reminded me of how things happen in our world where major events do happen, uh, like a lot of death or war or something. It happens similar to that. So it looked almost like nobody was listening to her speech, and we thought they were
Oh
just being
man, it was
rude to
hard to
her.
watch.
I'm gonna think
But
though, like nobody was listening to her speech because they didn't care.
Yeah.
And also another thing I kind of noted when you look at the Senate room. First of all, it's almost empty.
Mhm.
Second, there's no alien. There's like
Yeah.
one alien.
Well, that was part of the Emperor. He's trying to get rid of the Senate,
Right.
and
And the aliens.
It's
he
really,
yeah.
really like you see it. To
Yeah.
actually have that visualization of there's not a lot of senators, not a lot of representation anymore.
Senators are now just elite, money
Figureheads.
hungry. You know.
That if they're not already with the Empire, like
Mhm.
being already made a lot of money, like as a puppet,
Yeah.
they are starting to be replaced by moths and
Yep.
other Imperial. So because that's the part where he starts coming out with reasons of betrayal.
Mhm.
So they find out the reason, kind of similar with the corporate, and they take out their leadership and they implement their own military ones. They all just want an excuse, whether they cause it in the first place or
Right.
it happens on its own. So that's similar to what we've seen with the original the planet that we saw.
Mm.
Because the one guy he said he wanted his own title and everything.
Yeah. Well,
It's
that's
similar to that.
So Aldani was nice. The people of Aldani, that was interesting. The eye of the that was awesome.
So
That was really,
beautiful.
really cool.
Yeah,
And like
that
them trying to
was-
get through it and stuff was a really awesome. Again, there's so many scenes in this when I was sitting there like, oh my god, how's this gonna go? Things are bad. Like it was really cool. I loved how that communications officer purposely was like, hold on, there's some weird stuff going on. Let me see. Oh, that line's open. Oh, they're calling in and no one's checking in.
That
Hold
was
on.
the perfect example of somebody doing their job well.
Yeah.
And actually giving a shit about their job and being the ruin for the
Like-
rebellion or
Yeah.
some other thing.
Mhm. But it's so
Well, I
cool
think-
because it's not the Force. It's not, I have a feeling. It's none of that. It's none of this grandiose script stuff. It's literally just like legitimate hard work made this event happen.
Yep.
Well, I think a lot of the reasons why a lot of the incompetency, I think that was done on purpose because remember the officer, I believe he personally scheduled the ones that would be not paying attention.
Yeah.
At least in the facility, he probably thought the comms are already taken care of.
Mm.
He probably regrets that now. Well, I guess he don't. And now he's not that.
He's not doing much of anything.
A lot of people don't do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff at the end of this.
But yeah, which the funny part was, he purposely chose the exact men he'd know would be gambling, and they were playing Sabak. By the way, I don't know if you caught that. So they were.
That's all the
He purposely
cards.
cut the Sabak guys. Also, the one guard that would be sitting the entire time. I don't know if noticed the guy was sitting on a stool instead of standing at his post. Stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Another thing that really kind of cemented like the lived-in aspect of a lot of things was the guys holding the coffee at the front or the calf cups.
Yeah.
How they were just
Yeah, I
standing
noticed
around,
that. I
just
was
like
like-
morning cough.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny. But there was some kind of irony into it. Like there
Yeah.
was like the young man, he did this whole like manifesto against the empire and its
Mm-hmm.
power and its money, and he ends up getting crushed by imperial credits. So there's some irony with that.
Yeah.
Right.
There's also irony with the father, who's the officer of the whole facility.
Mm-hmm.
How he threatens to slap his son. I think his son or his wife. Pretty sure his son. He threatens to back in his son for
Son.
not listening to orders.
Yeah.
And then later he gets slapped for not listening to orders by, I think it was Cassian. One of them backhands him. So it came back around where he ended up getting
Mhm.
slapped for not listening to orders.
That was something that we also talked about too. I was kind of crazy how we got to see an actual like imperial general
Family.
or officer, lieutenant, kind of like higher ranking person. Their life, you know, a bratty kid, bratty wife, horrible dad. Everyone's angry at each other.
See, I didn't really get bratty kid. I got dad is
sickly little-
controlling
yeah.
and they don't get to do anything.
And mom babies him.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
got to
kinda
be
got that.
difficult already that you are an officer's son.
Mhm.
Pretty decent rank. So they've been moving around because, you know, the empire's been growing and changing so much. So they
Which-
already hated being there.
I could also
Right.
see like being sickly. Maybe he's not used to that environment or
Oh,
that
yeah,
kind of
that's what happens a
atmosphere,
lot.
and so he is not adapted to it.
Mhm.
So that's why he's
Yeah.
sick all the time.
That's a good point. The rest of the episode is kind of interesting because you really get to see like that lieutenant guy. He does a good job of like using the eye to get everyone to just go outside, stay away. They really do like almost get all in there, but then that team shows up with the communications officer. Battle ensues, people die. Andor and then make it out. Kid gets crushed, but is able to help them escape through the eye, evading 3 TIE fighters. That was an awesome scene, watching the TIE pilots get into the TIE fighters. That one was really, really cool too.
You have to see kind of an adrenaline shot of some
Mhm.
kind.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the old video game stim packs that they used to do.
Oh,
And,
nice.
Dude, and they're freaking like stim pack. That's the 1st
Mhm.
time we've really seen
Yeah,
one.
true.
yeah, we see them all the time in the games where it's almost kind of like a shot like that.
Yeah.
But we never actually
But-
see. The only healing we see is with the back of the tanks. So
That was awesome to see.
we see a formed man do surgery.
Right.
There's
'Cause
actually a lot
wasn't
of
that also
a
the first representation of them in live action? That species?
I think so. I don't think we've seen those
Yeah.
before
Yeah,
in the
it's-
show. The closest we have is the formed guy, but that was a totally different race in,
Right.
in episode 2. I think it was episode 2. Yeah, episode 2. Um, we had a lot of firsts in this
Mhm.
series that I actually didn't pick up all the firsts until I saw a list. And
Oh, yeah.
the first for this series in the entire Star Wars that we've seen on any show. This is the first show that we've gotten a lot of adult things.
Yeah.
We've gotten first reference to sex, an actual sex scene.
True.
We got our first curse word. One of the
Really?
officers. Yeah, he
I guess
he said
You
He
don't
said
you
shit.
don't think about that kind of
Oh.
stuff because they say like other words
Wow,
for
yeah.
it, but
yeah. We get our first curse word. We get our first smoking a cigarette.
uh-huh.
Actual smoking.
that one kind
I
of
guess it's
shocks me.
technically not a cigarette. But
Yeah.
we've seen reference to death sticks. We haven't actually seen somebody smoking death sticks. We actually see. I don't. I'm assuming it's death sticks and not cigarettes. But and then we also get our first urinating, if that
Yeah.
counts.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because Mando gave us the refresher, so now they do actually pee. So we know they have the same sexual organs that we do, and they have sex, and they like to cuss, and they drink. All right,
So
they
we
smoke.
So
It's
this
weird
is
how
probably
you don't
the
think
most
about that stuff.
adult series we've gotten in Star Wars,
Which
because
it
of all these
fits.
firsts.
And it really does fit, because again, this is a gritty rebellion star. This can't be happy-go-lucky hoorah-rah.
Yeah, the writing and a lot of everything is more adult face. Also, you got to think the fighting.
Mhm.
We don't see stormtroopers dying with helmets on. We see stormtroopers with faces,
Yeah.
and we see major characters die more prevalently.
Mhm.
Pretty brutally.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of usually, either hidden or kind of masked some way. Like the lightsaber deaths, usually it's like, oh, because lightsabers burn the wounds, you don't usually see a lot of blood.
Right, and they always
stuff
turn
like
with
that.
it.
Which
So with
honestly,
this, we saw a lot.
and then Mando is really kind of starting to lead into
Mhm.
more of this adult theme stuff. Because we got
which
not
will
quite
work.
adult stuff in Mando, but it is definitely more mature.
Well, I'm happy to see this in Andor because this gives me hope for the Acolyte, that a
Oh,
dark side show.
dude.
Because that's what and then it maybe eventually when we go further back, not to skip too far ahead, but we'll get to the Old Republic, and that stuff's dark as hell and full of sex, especially the games.
I truly believe the whole reason they're doing this in the first place is almost as experimenting to see how people would take it. Like the Mandalorian, it's a great show, but the first season they didn't really go too far.
Yeah,
they kind of dipped their toes to see how people would react. So
we got
people like that. We'll try it again.
2, and then a lot more in Boba.
Yeah, I mean, because in the Old Republic, they straight up you can have kids, so like Jedi will do it just to preserve a line.
That's pretty.
It's still like it's a gamble though, because it's all about the midichlorians and then how you actually connect with the Force. So you could, it's not always a guarantee, but it's a pretty strong guarantee.
We get a lot more adult references in this one than we've ever gotten in anything. So that's the interesting. And also, we got the adult row at the very beginning too. We've had references, but that's getting more in your face than we've ever seen. So yeah, this
which
is
you can definitely tell
geared
this is more geared for like our age and a little older.
Kids could probably watch this, but I have a feeling that some of it wouldn't sit well with them because some of it might go over their heads. With the whole is because it's more political, but not in a bad way. And then also,
I kept saying that's why I love the show. It's political intrigue, and I'm excited.
I love when we get to go to the big white room full of people who are snippy at each other. But I'm sure kids would hate it.
I was waiting for somebody big to show up, and they straight up teased us. I called it with the engineer.
It's gonna be someone big. It was an engineer.
They're like, oh look at all this stuff. It's gonna be a big dude, some random ass dude.
Hey, you were right about Rings of Power. Okay, you're good. You were right about
Rings of Power. I tried to find a reference
to him.
Like, there's not really anything much about this guy. He's just he just was kind of a guy to show up.
Show up and get shot. Engineer.
Show up and get shot. Yeah. Hey, he tried though. He had balls at least. He was ready to he was gonna try.
Yeah,
he's the only one who actually rebellion.
Yeah.
Well, he actually seemed like he had the rank. He actually took things seriously because the other guy was like, "Oh, don't worry about they like greet the troops. Oh, you must be from that other base," and he's just so casual about everything. Heck, he couldn't even fit his uniform.
Yeah,
so that
the sash.
I love how the I can't remember their name. The native people took his gift and just chucked it in the fire.
Yeah, immediately.
They were like, "We don't like you."
Yeah. Yeah, they had the idea that they were doing great with, the local populace, and they weren't.
Which is even more amazing. The local populace is gonna love when they hear what happened.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of a prelude to how the Empire handles things.
You think they're gonna still build a base there, or
they're gonna kill them all and build a base there?
Okay, I didn't know if they were still gonna build.
They're gonna wipe that whole tribe out immediately when they get the chance.
Things are about to get,
especially after this,
a lot more
that might be the thing that makes Andor really come like full circle with the rebellion, is because he might be like, what happens to the Aldani people? Oh, they're all dead now.
Yeah, because and that might question his involvement. I don't know. But because this I think is the first attack seen politically.
Yeah.
This is the first time we'll see maybe a lot of the Empire will actually start taking things more seriously. They're like, this is like this. We can't, because right now I feel like a lot of guys have been coasting, which you kind of see that on the planet. They're kind of just coasting through their job and not really, because they don't expect anyone to challenge the Empire.
But they got caught with their pants down, and that's gonna really leave a mark. And Palpatine, especially, they're not gonna allow that. So they're gonna immediately have to like buff security. They're gonna take the planet over. It's going to immediately escalate, because that's how the Empire does things. They just take it up by 50-fold every time. They don't step by step. They skip steps. They take escalators. They don't care. They have turbo lifts. They don't need stairs.
So we didn't get too many Easter eggs in this episode, but we got a lot that actually happened. So,
it was awesome. It was so good. Like it really is some of the best Star Wars I've seen in a long time.
I was after the episode, I was like, is that the best episode so far?
Oh, definitely the best episode. Yeah, definitely the best episode.
I was like, was really good. I was like, I actually was on. I was actually pretty excited
Yeah.
when it. It was a pretty good episode. We got to see a lot of fun action. We got to see the whole spy intrigue that we were wanting to see.
Yeah.
Everybody likes a good bank heist. So
Right. Man, it was awesome. It was really gripping.
And I'm not gonna lie, like the second they went back to Lucien's shop, I was like, "What else can I see?"
Yeah, you were.
There was nothing.
I was always you gotta like.
As soon as I see stuff, I'm like, "Ooh, what else is there?"
I
do want to know where those necklaces were from.
Yeah,
his really human reaction that he had when he heard how excited he got.
Yeah.
It's like every fan while they're watching the show.
Right. It's like when you were randomly hear, "Oh, your football team won." Woohoo! it was awesome to see because like we've been saying, this is the birth of the rebellion. So these big strikes being not only successful, but also then being put out to the whole galaxy, like, hey, the Empire is not as powerful as we think they are.
Well, and then
this is more happening, and then you got other groups like the rebel group from the show. They're also starting to kick off.
Yeah.
So because it's all happening at the same time. So I would
this
would be really cool if we just
from
see
the Ghost.
like one, like I don't know, something from in the cockpit of the Ghost.
Yeah.
Like, hey, rebellions attack.
Maybe.
And we'll also see
Aldani.
another group probably causing some as well with the Bad Batch group as well.
True.
So yeah, this is
Bad Batch
definitely
isn't going on right now. Is it?
Yeah, I know. No, it's not yet. No.
But they're still alive.
No, it's
unless they all die.
It is close to this time because this is, I think it's Bad Batch. A lot of it's right before this time.
Yeah.
But, there's supposed to be a time jump in Bad Batch. So I'm assuming that they're going to time jump to around this actual time.
Ooh, we're gonna try and do a big MCU tie-in where everything just kind of like wee.
I can't wait to see you right now. I can't.
Dude, if we got to see.
Oh, because the whole She-Hulk.
Yes.
Yeah, She-Hulk was.
The Bad Batch group in live action.
That would be so cool.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be so cool.
Young
Jones would lose her mind if. Oh man.
Dude,
live action
the
Hunter.
501st website would go nuts because they would all be analyzing and trying to get the costumes out for the database.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out for Omega showing up with Boba at some point.
That would be so dope.
Be like, hi, brother.
Get some Mando armor. Even though she's like, well, I don't really deserve it, but
I don't care. Yes, she does. She has every right to it.
Since this is we get a lot of major characters because we have all these shows. There's got to be some kind of encounter.
Yeah.
With something, maybe we'll get a quick Ezra encounter. We don't know.
Just to see him like a live action young one, just be like, don't worry, because in Ahsoka, you're gonna see him again.
We also have what's the video game character we have? Isn't Cal, right?
Cal Kestis.
Kestis,
should be around. Yeah.
If Cal Kestis shows up, I'm gonna lose my shit.
But I mean, it makes sense because he works with young Saw Gerrera or a younger Saw.
Yeah.
So
we got all these characters that
Not
could
too
bump
young.
into each other.
This time, though.
Yeah.
He's working with Saw.
Yeah. So. And we are expecting to see Saul. There's no way we don't see Saul.
Yeah, I mean he's already been shown. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be there. Saul is gonna probably be a really. I expect from episode 7 on. That's when we're gonna get because if Saul shows up, it's gonna get even darker.
Well,
honestly, this would be like episode 9 or 10, but something's gonna get really bad. Mission's gonna go nuts with Saul.
There's so much that has happened in just this episode. It's definitely going to kick off. I really think it's going to be the starter point of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be the thing that sparks everything. Sparks all the new different cells and gets them going, oh, somebody else can do it. We can do it. And then we start seeing the little pieces. So.
I bet you Saul probably got real excited when he saw the news.
Oh, dude,
I'm sure.
He went, someone else did it.
He personally went out and made sure to shoot a few more Imperials that day.
We should do the same thing.
Yeah, let's go steal a bunch of money ourselves, guys, and just kill them all instead
of stealing the money. Let's just kill them all.
Yeah.
Blow the place up.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say though, the eye was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous. It was really
just
pretty.
Give some really good appreciation for that because it was so well thought out. The meteors all forming and the way that it hits in the horizon is what forms the eye, and that's why it's an eye, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it was strange because I was seeing the shot. It almost looked like turbo lasers shooting during the fight. I
Yeah.
was like, what the heck? I was
The,
expecting something totally different. So it was really cool.
well, they said it was like crystals, right? Like trapped in the atmo or
Hmm.
something, or they're like going
Yeah.
through a field.
It's something to do with when it revolves because it only happens every like 3 or 4, I think 3 or 4
3 years.
years.
Yeah.
And so it happens. I get because the axis will rotate slightly every revolution, so that's why it happens. And
But
there's like a pocket of debris that it rotates through.
Which is
yeah,
awesome. It was gorgeous.
and it would make a lot of sense that sitting on the side of a mountain with a view over a horizon would give you that perfect view of it. But it's the horizon and everything going around it.
Yeah.
So
And it's a
out.
perfect distraction because everybody, you gotta watch it, and that's the whole
Yeah.
reason a lot of guys go there. They want to watch it. So while everybody was looking at the sky, they could kind of get away with
Yep.
Yep.
a lot of their
Great
movement.
timing. It was
But
an
then
awesome.
you get that one guy who doesn't give a shit.
Yep. He's doing his job. He's doing his job. And
Well,
he
he
does
knew took his job
Yeah.
seriously
And he
because he had
dies.
the finely
But
trimmed
he did his
mustache and
job.
everything.
Oh yeah. He had the
He's probably gonna get all the medals and recommendations, or or
Mike,
awards
on his
and stuff.
casket.
Exactly. But he did his job.
Yeah, he did. He did. But the Empire doesn't care about you now, and they didn't care about you back then.
Well, that's what he told that he actually told about that kid, and he goes, "What do you think? Do you think the Empire cares what you have to
Right.
say?" He says,
No,
"They
not at
don't.
all. Yeah, they don't care at
anything
all.
about you.
They don't care that we do this. They don't care. They're just gonna be
They don't
meaner. They're
care
just gonna
about your
be angrier.
manifesto. They don't.
They don't like. I love that. He's like, they don't even care to try to learn what we're doing. They only care about continuing to do what they're doing.
If anything, it gives them more, at least on the military side, more fuel to why they need to start dominating.
Right, exactly. Which
But
they
it
will
does
use.
it does cause to a lot of them, it will show them, there is a weakness. We're not impenetrable. So
Yeah.
it was necessary because it had to start from somewhere.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a great episode.
I give it a 10 out of 10. Like it was just, it was so good. But it's good for Andor.
What do
In the
you
world
think
of Star Wars, I love my lightsabers go burr, and I love the Force, and I love mystique and lore. But damn it, this show's good.
I'm gonna.
What do you think the show's gonna go
I didn't
next?
think it was the best thing ever, but I thought it was really good.
Okay.
About
What
like
do you think?
8, 9, 9.
What do you think they're gonna take the show now?
They're gonna. I just imagine a bigger mission that's gonna have to somehow involve Saw, and he's gonna be the one who like teaches Andor a lot of like fighting or something, or like demolition tactics, because he's a sniper when we meet him in Rogue One. I think him and Lucien are gonna go. I think episode 7 and 8, maybe 9, are gonna be him and Lucien exploring or like figuring something out, or like the next big thing, and then Saw will come in towards the end to round things up in a finale, which will be a big, huge fight, like a massive fight against the Empire. Like
It probably end up
probably
being
a bunch of cells coming together, and that's where we'll get our cameos if we're gonna get them.
I think
It's
they're gonna
probably-
get peppered.
I think it's probably gonna, because at one point it might be the end. They're gonna go back to the planet where it started.
Yeah, true.
Because they're building up an Empire force there. So
Right.
he's gonna find out about it. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna get called back. Some reason. or
Girls are gonna
another.
get killed.
Plus, we have the corporate guy that's still glaring at his face.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I guess that is true. Yeah.
it's all building up towards that. So that's gonna happen either the next 3 episodes.
Corporate
By the way, I
guys
don't know if you.
Corporate guy's
I don't know
gonna
if you
come in.
noticed-
Corporate guy's gonna work with the Empire. They're gonna find Cassian. Cassian's gonna be with Saw. Saw's gonna have to help him get away at the last minute. They're all gonna have this huge fight against the wall. Backs are against the wall. Cameo guy shows up to save the day.
I think
I
the
don't know
cameos
if
are gonna
you-
be peppered in. I think we're gonna get little bits and pieces of each
I'm better with
person,
that.
and like their little part in the rebellion starting, and then it'll tie in the last episode.
Like you see like a little like Lucen talking to someone who's just like, oh yeah, the mission on Kashyyyk just went fine, and you're like, oh, that was Hera, blah.
Like mention of the ghost, or
Yeah.
mention of Cal, or something
Well,
with
they're gonna-
something with
it shows
Leia.
Name
Leia's
dropping
gonna have
stuff
to be in
already.
it
So
at some point.
we're gonna at least get a name drop of somebody. 'Cause
Yeah.
We've already
Yeah.
gotten tons. But one thing I saw got pointed out, the show has a common where they do everything by 3 episodes.
Mhm.
So every major plot point is in 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So That was one thing, and then it encouraged people, if they do want to get in the show late, watch 3 episodes at a time in
Mm-hmm.
sections. It's better to watch it that way than one episode at a time, if you unless you're just really excited to watch it.
Yeah.
Because the plot line is almost 3 episodes are almost one long episode, and then
Yeah,
after
true.
the
Well,
third episode, it starts the whole new kind of plot point.
Right.
yeah, because that's about on track with like movies.
Oh, yeah.
It'll put it about as a movie.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting, because like with the Mandalorian, each episode was almost its individual story. Well, this one's 3 episodes of one story, 3 episodes, and so what
And
we'll
that
expect to see probably
lends to more
7, 8,
of
and
the
9,
inspiration
one
for
story.
Mando.
Yeah.
More that Western style. You have a complete story within it, and you have some little things that tie in.
Mm-hmm.
This
Also
is a
easier
big
to
story that has
yeah.
to be broken up.
It's also easier to when you start experimenting with what will kind of stick with the audience as well too. You can see what episodes kind of triggered well with the audience. So
And well, I think this one is doing really well. The last 2 episodes are, of course, phenomenal, and this last one, all the people love, even the big haters who are constantly always like Star Wars sucks.
Because there's more explosions.
There's more explosions and bang bang shoot 'em up. Yeah, of course.
yeah, well, like I said, there should be two major plot points left of this season, and then we've already got a confirmed second season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've already seen some comments, reading some comments what they said about the show. This isn't true Star Wars. This isn't
Yeah.
what I thought was true Star Wars. Which they say the same thing about all the Disney shows. They hate them.
Just because it doesn't fit the exact narrative that you want doesn't mean it's not real Star Wars.
That's not true.
And if you
That's
go
not how
in
that works.
if you go in expecting to hate a show and hate watch a show, you're
Yeah.
going to hate it regardless if it's good or not, because you've already made up your mind. That's with
Exactly.
everything. That's
They
why I
have this,
typically
like-
go into shows. I go in like it's just a show. I if it's got relation to Star Wars, that's awesome. But yeah, don't go in already hating the show. Just
Right.
that's
This,
my advice.
to
for
me,
stuff like
this show is really feeling more in the world, and I think we already talked about this. Like it feels like it's part of the world, not a.
To be cliche,
Kinda of the
it is a
world.
living, breathing, existing environment.
You get
It really is,
dudes standing there having their morning coffee,
Yeah.
talking about the day. Like
Guards
that
who are just, like-
feels real.
Guards who just like kind of like, and the lieutenant's like, you can go with the rest of your menu. Thank you, sir.
They're playing Pizzazz, like
Yeah.
or Sabak.
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 Well, we get a lot of things that we would otherwise get overseen, like just completely missed in a movie, because it's
Mhm.
not the huge mage characters. It's not Luke Skywalker. It's not Han Solo. So we wouldn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah.
These
We
are
get
little Easter
Han
eggs
Solo
that
running
somebody
into a
will point
control
out
room and
10
they
years later.
blast Stormtrooper. You don't get to see beforehand of the Stormtroopers drinking coffee, talking, having conversations. We only
Shooting
get
the
to
shit.
see conversations of Imperial officers, of the highest ranking officers, talking with Darth Vader and stuff like that. We don't get to see, the intelligence officers discussing what's going
Yeah.
on. We don't get to see a lot of the politics going on, just their daily life,
Right.
or
We don't get to see people having cereal with blue milk.
Yeah. Oops, all berries.
that was interesting. But I guess it had to happen some way. I expected it to have a Star Wars breakfast, but I didn't
Yeah.
expect it to be that.
I'm not gonna lie, I would not be shocked if we start seeing more food items and then see them later on the Halcyon.
Yeah, that'll be a
Well-
big thing. They'll be at the theme
If-
parks, 100%.
If this was a children focused show, we definitely have already seen it on the shelves.
Yeah.
At local markets.
Right.
But yeah, I guarantee you they're probably gonna do it at the parks now.
Yeah.
At least at the
Well, because I know Galaxy's Edge is
the
going to
cruise-
change before too long. It's not going to be Batu forever, apparently. They're going to like change a bit of
Good.
it.
Make it
they're already
adapt.
messing with the timeline, because they added they're adding the Mando.
Oh, yeah.
And they
Mando
adding Boba
and
Fett.
Grogu.
They're supposed to be adding Boba Fett, or I don't know when he's.
I
supposed
can't
be
wait to
joining,
go. I just want to live in the different. I just want to like walk around like a child. It's like, ah, ha, ha, ha.
But yeah,
It'd be
I'm
really funny
I'm
watching
sure
you two.
the hotel, the Star Cruiser thing.
Gross.
they-
Not that.
they
I'm not going
definitely
to
will-
that.
Well,
I'm
I'm
good.
saying they definitely will have the cereal. If they don't, that's kind of stupid.
True. Yeah, they'll definitely have the cereal. And then space waffles for your
That's why I
continental
said the Halcyon,
breakfast.
because that's what it's called, the Halcyon,
Yeah,
right?
the Halcyon. Halcyon Star Cruiser.
I mean, I wouldn't mind going.
I would
At
go.
least
It's
one.
just I gotta have a lot more other people to help pay because it's
If
expensive.
I was an animator for the show, I
Yeah.
would in the background if we ever get any big battles, I'd have the Star Cruiser ship in the background just get blown up. Just like really small, you don't notice. Only fans would spot it.
You
Just
see the
sneak it by
Halcyon is
Disney.
It's in a battle.
Yeah, it's like in the last battle of Rise of Skywalker.
Random little.
You see it escaping and it just blows up.
Yeah. All right, so to escape from Andor now, it's a great episode, but we're gonna get on to one of my all-time great favoriteest things in the whole world: prequel stuff. Older. Haha, the past.
Well,
I love it.
if you don't know what the Old Republic is, it's
Oh.
very older.
Yeah.
It's way. I don't remember.
This is lore that has been
actual
connected and
content.
written and worked around and babied since the early 90s with the Dark Horse comics, Freedom Nad, Ajunta Paul, Ludo Kresh, all these ancient Sith lords, Tulak Horde, Mark Aragnos. This all comes from those comics, which goes into the video games. And the video games and the Xbox video games was a big part of it. Like a lot of people got into Star Wars because of the KOTOR, the Knights of the Old Republic game, and because of Darth Revan.
They used the series almost to write the origins for a lot of the major things that we see.
Yeah.
Like the origins where the idea of the Empire comes from, where the Sith comes from, early uses of the Force, lightsabers, early Jedi. We see a lot of origins for things.
That's why I was so excited to hear the Rakata, because the Rakata, of course, are Old Republic. They were like an ancient race of only Darksiders that had the Infinite Empire that conquered a lot of the galaxy that we know today in the Star Wars universe. And they were not nice people. They enslaved everybody. They were far worse than the Empire.
And then after that happened, and then the Mandalorians conquered the galaxy.
Yep, they started on their first Great Crusade.
That's kind of where a lot of the major time frame is kind of roughly around the Mandalorian War.
Yeah.
It's either right before or right after.
Things go crazy though, yeah, because Mandalore the Indomitable gets tricked into the things with Exar Kun, and then he dies after trying to take on Andor. Then we get Mandalore the Ultimate, who is the Mandalore for Darth Revan and the Great Mandalorian Jedi Civil War and all that stuff. So yeah, the Sith and the Mandalorians were a great power for a very long time. Because then we have the Old Republic MMORPG, where we get a lot more just like an open world, just crazy funness. And that's where they really cement the fact of like, oh, at this time there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Sith on the front lines battling Jedi.
It's almost a totally different universe, but it's the same, because there's a lot more population, there's a lot more events. There is the technology is more advanced at this time. So I'm guessing when these major conquers happen, a lot of places lose technologies.
It has to be something weird, because we know in the High Republic they are re-exploring the Outer Rim. So if you're already flying around,
a lot of ships either were referenced or are from the Old Republic era. Like you see it in Rebels,
Hammerhead, and
I think it's in Solo's one of the show, a Rogue One, that you see the Hammerhead as well.
Yeah.
So they have technology still being used. The lightsaber didn't change much.
No, it did not.
Not much. Honestly, not much. If anything, technology went backwards until the Empire kind of started taking in charge again.
Well, that's the crazy thing with the lightsaber combat, though, because that's one of the main things that draws a lot of people to the Old Republic is the fact that the lightsaber combat was continuous, and it was like every day between the two forces. So, like, the lightsaber fighters were some of the best ever.
Well, we see the Rule 2 starting to get enforced during the Old Republic.
Well, it's kind of how people would like cut it off. Yeah, there's like the Old Republic is before the Rule of Two, in a sense, and then everything that follows is Bane's dynasty, and then we're getting into High Republic and the Grand Republic.
So because we see the origin of the Rule of Two near the end of the Old Republic, we get a ton of Sith. And we also get a ton of Jedi. Because there's a ton of Sith, the Jedi are more similar to the Republic era Jedi, where they are very warlike, very combative. Jedi actually wear armor at this period.
Yeah.
And not just the clone armor where it's just a little. They wore full-headed usually no helmet, but full top to bottom armor, and heavy armor too.
And the Sith are covered in spiky
Yeah,
edgelord awesome armor with big pauldrons and lots of like rebreathers because their face gets all screwed up from using the dark side and betraying one another.
so there's a lot of war going on.
A lot.
The Mandalorians are way different. They got the Neon
Yeah.
Crusaders. They're
But this is when we get one of the
yeah.
like best Sith ever. The one Sith who Palpatine wished he was, but will never be. That's of course Darth Tenebris, or Valkorian, or whatever you'd like to call
We
him.
get a lot of great Sith characters.
A lot. Darth Malgus, all of them. There's Darth Mar, Darth Revan, of course, but Darth Tenebris was the first one to be like, no, I literally killed thousands of people, and I lived for thousands of years, and I was the Emperor, and I ruled everything.
If you're a fan of the 40K universe, it's probably the closest you'll ever get with Star Wars 40K. Because it does get pretty extreme. There are some Sith Lords that literally will go out and just, like you said, there's really powerful Sith Lords.
Annihilate entire planets.
Yeah.
Throw lightsabers and stuff that can like cut across everything.
Literally destroy a planet with just the Force.
Yeah, I mean, then there's Nihil. There's Darth Nihil, which literally can suck the Force out of every living thing and just rip all of the life out of an entire planet and every species and rock on it. Like that the crazy stuff. Darth Sion, he's also immortal. A lot of in the Old Republic, a lot of Sith found out how to live to be a very old age or to be immortal. And apparently they all must have been destroyed by the Jedi because Palpatine did not do very good research at all, apparently.
Well, you have Sith temples, you have Sith organizations, you have a ton of Sith artifacts. And
I mean, why didn't Palpatine go to Darth Bane's temple? Yoda went there, for God's sakes, but Palpatine couldn't.
You realize how incompetent Palpatine is compared to the Old Republic.
Dude,
Sith.
That's why, Palpatine's a punk. I need to make that shirt. That's gonna be my first merch, guys. First merch announcement. Palpatine's a punk.
The Old Republic Sith would never hide who they were. They don't hide. They don't pretend to be, and they don't try to like take over the galaxy being the good guy. They just take over the galaxy, which they did. At least 3 times that I can think of right now.
They had a huge swath of space. But it's always been this weird like coalition between Sith, Mandalorians, and then the Republic, and then the Hutts have always just kind of like worked on the outside with whoever they kind of wanted for the moment. In the Old Republic game, the Chiss are actually an active faction, which it's weird that they would then lose contact with the Republic, but
I don't know.
I think that's more for just like another player race for the game.
It could also be like something big happens within there.
Oh, something real big's got to happen.
Yeah, we get some races that kind of die out because we never hardly ever see them again.
Yeah, Myoluka are never seen again that we know of, even though they're humanoid.
Yeah, a lot of it's just because they probably weren't designing a new player race.
Yeah.
A lot of people originally started as Dark Horse Comics.
So good,
favorite
comics.
Content.
Tales of the Jedi, best comic run.
And then it really
comic run, not the animated show coming out.
It kicks off with the which is a reference to the comics. The name is.
I just want the actual comics.
He got so excited. He was like, "It's gonna be the comics."
Yeah, I was so ready.
We kick off with the video game, which
such a good game.
Was ahead of its time in a way, but if it came out now, I doubt anybody would commit to it. Plus, I don't know any company that could make it as well as it was back then.
Yeah, it was perfect for when it was doing, because like I'll still play it to this day. Knights of the Old Republic is one of the most absolutely stunning, beautiful, best games I've ever played.
A great
1 and 2.
The ending of the game. If you didn't know it was coming. Back then,
when the first time you play that game and you realize, wait, I'm Darth Revan, you're like.
Well, we didn't have much internet back then, so we didn't have things get spoiled to us.
Right, you didn't think about, let me Google the story of this game. You just didn't, and it wasn't put in your face because there was no Facebook, there was no MySpace.
Well, you hear about,
there was maybe Zynga.
How crazy Darth Revan is the entire game, and then you finally find out.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And in that game has so many awesome characters, and then
you get endings, light side endings, dark side endings, dark Bastila, light Bastila.
You get HK, who's awesome character.
Love HK-47.
Forgot his name. Ordo. He's the Mando guy.
Canderous Ordo.
Yeah. You get him. Nothing.
Zalbar mission,
What's
Jahani,
her name? The Jedi that you get pretty early. Um,
Bastila,
yeah,
Bastila Shan,
Bastila.
who you
You
make
get
babies
her,
with, and then the child of Revan and Bastila is the Grand Jedi Master in the MMORPG.
and then you get the Sith girl that tries to manipulate you, into being evil.
Visaz or Visaz,
They're
Visas.
all pretty cool.
That's LaShawn. Oh yeah, baby's with her. Like,
Yeah.
there's more that happens with her.
Yeah,
but
she's
you-
There's a
she's a
lot
good
that happens,
character.
but Revan knocks
She
her
has
up.
her own like weird way of using the Force. So you never seen her.
Yeah, battle meditation is a real big one. Jahani, though, that was a fun character because we never see the Cathar outside of the games.
Yeah, it's a great cast, great game, and then further explored till we finally got an MMO.
Yeah. Well, the second
which
one too.
had
Don't forget about KOTOR 2. That was also really good.
yeah. There's KOTOR 2. I've only played that I think
Oh
once or
man,
twice.
KOTOR 2 is a funner playthrough just because they had a really awesome system of influencing your followers. You could almost turn every single one of the people in your party into a Jedi or a Sith. Like if you did like certain companion things and got them to like you, you could then turn them into Force sensitives and then turn them to the dark side. And it was so you just run around with this Sith crew just murking everybody.
So
and we get
Basla thing though. Like,
oh,
what if you played as a female? How does that happen?
Force baby.
Look, the
Force
canon.
baby.
Sorry, the
Anakin
canon
can
thing
speak one
is
from
that
the
Darth
Force.
Revan is a dude. I'm sorry, but it's true. Darth Revan's a guy, and from the
If
second game,
Anakin
Mitra
can be
Surik is
one
a
from the
female.
Force, yeah.
It's just how it is. Revan's a dude, and Mitra Surik is a female, and we're all okay with that.
That's why I always have issues with that. They're, like you're playing
They
as
were
the main
RPGs,
character,
right.
but like you could choose your own adventure.
And the
but you're
whole
main
internet has
character.
accepted that Darth Revan is 1 bajillion % Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
the
no,
original
100%.
idea of Revan, when the first game where they're writing it, his whole idea was him to be, and there was no gender assigned.
Yeah.
You could be anything.
Right, and it worked out
So
perfectly.
eventually they had to decide when they made a continuation of him.
Right.
It was an awesome design at the time. It's still awesome design.
Oh, the armor, the mask is iconic. A lot of people know the mask more than they know more about Star Wars.
I just wish they would actually do good and make it again, but not fuck it up like they were going to.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. Yeah, that was
originally.
a whole thing.
His mask originally is from a female Mandalorian.
Yes.
I believe.
I would love to get those comics. Oh, there are the Knights of the Old Republic comics, which are coveted. I have a few of them, but the Revan one is like a very expensive sought after comic.
You know how nuts the shop would the antique shop would be if it had a Revan mask. One episode just sitting like hidden in the background.
Oh, people would lose their minds if Revan's
He's already got
mask.
the crystal, so he's already got some of the Old Republic items.
True. I mean, and who knows how old that Mandalorian armor is? It could be new, it could be old. Everyone's saying, "Oh, it's brand new. It's from the Purge." Like, you don't know that though.
Well, it's because it's got to be if it's authentic, it shouldn't rust anyways, because it would be.
Yeah, so it can be as old as it wants to be. It could be ancient.
I mean, we don't. I don't know what because we haven't really seen any Mandalorians from the High Republic, so maybe it's
not yet. I would love to see some though. That'd be really awesome. The High Republic's been doing really good lately.
Similar design to what we see in the Mandalorian shows.
Yeah.
How the breastplate shaped and everything. It's close.
Little wings.
It's not.
I was gonna say, do we know what era it's from? That would help.
No, sadly, not an idea.
It's the closest we've seen is either similar to his or what we get as the Legends version of the post Civil War era.
Yeah, I could also see it though as Neo Crusader.
One Piece.
Because Neo Crusaders have the full chest to groin.
Because during the Clone Wars is when we start seeing the more separate plates.
Yeah.
We see that with Jango, Boba, and then the Clone Wars show with the Death Watch and Bo-Katan. Those are all where they have the segmented plates. And then the Mandalorians, the first time they kind of just made their own design.
I feel like the new Mandalorians, the Mandalorian series, are doing a saving design. Like,
because they don't have a lot of best guys.
If you look at it, it only covers like their very front, and so like there's not a lot of like It's really not that hard to shoot those dudes. I don't know why people don't just shoot them in the kidneys, because they don't ever protect them. But
I mean, it
that's
makes
just
sense
me.
because they don't have a lot of Beskar.
They have more armor than what's her name from Rebels.
Oh yeah.
Sabine.
Yeah, Sabine. I don't know why in a second. My brain is doing.
I can't think of names today, so.
Well, yeah. And honestly, though, Sabine's not big on like front fighting.
That's true.
Well, hers
makes sense.
She wasn't, at least at the beginning, wasn't too big on the whole Mandalorian thing, anyways.
But
she was already.
You want to talk about fully encased in armor? Mandalorians from the Old Republic. They were encased in heavy armor.
Crusaders, everything was armor. Even their neck was full armor. There wasn't a part that wasn't armored.
I love some of the Shea Vizsla. Shea Vizsla is an awesome, like, way cooler than any of the other Vizslas besides Tar, which we don't sadly get to see still. He's even more ancient.
But to me,
yeah, Shea Vizsla's awesome. The power text.
The MMOs, the best thing though, the Old Republic MMO is the trailers. The trailers are outstanding.
Oh, they're gorgeous, and I love the gameplay. It's single player as hell now, but it's fun. Look forward to some gameplay in the future, everybody, on the channel. So quick little announcement with that. I'll be starting a new character, and me and Mike will be playing through, and it'll be a lot of fun.
You got really quiet.
It will be very fun. Look, I'm excited.
Usually
the Old Republic, though, is my absolute favorite time period. Like, I'm happy the High Republic is being received so absolutely well by those who read it, and the fan base is growing, because I think that'll show Disney, no, it's cool. You can make older stuff. You can go back to the Old Republic. There's so much to talk to. There's so many Sith and Jedi and stories that aren't going to be told.
And it will give them an excuse to not have, like, really cool, really new looking stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly. You reuse as many assets as you need to.
Yeah, I know when it first came out, there was a lot of attacks on it from fan base and from these like parroting news sites that just copy and paste what the rest of the thing is. So we had a lot of news sites when it first came out. They said this whole like socialist or woke agenda when it first came out. But we hadn't even got it out yet, and people were saying that. So it's now that we've gotten it out, and what I've read of it, I haven't actually read the books, but I've read synopsis and I've skimmed through stuff, and it's more than
dark.
It's more than what they say it is, because I don't know if you remember. I remember that when it first got announced, we saw stuff from it. People were trying to push the whole that it's Disney trying to make woke Star Wars. It's just
I've learned not to listen to those kind of people though.
Ever.
If you click on a website that you type in the headline and you see about 10 different websites with the same headline, and when you click on those websites, you get about 15 different pop-ups and ads, and then it won't let you read it until you subscribe. Then
Yep. And what you're reading is trash and garbage. But I loved the Old Republic stuff. I love the High Republic stuff. High Republic has always done such an amazing job of tying the books into the comics, into the audiobooks. The audio dramas, like the Battle of Jeddah coming out at the end, closer here to October. I'm excited for that audio drama. It's like a huge fight going on between the Jedi and another sect in Jeddah, and I'm so down for it. Like, that's the beauty of the past, is we're getting to learn so many things that just fill in even cooler plot devices and holes for the future generation of Star Wars and the future movies. Give them an entire another family, for fuck's sake, to choose from, to be like, oh, look at this thing could happen in the future.
Pick some random dude in the Old Republic
the Empire.
And start going from there.
There's more than Skywalkers in the Empire.
There's more than Skywalkers. Just there's other things.
Right.
But yeah, we coming up, we will have a new show starting with Tales of the Jedi. I said announced the cast. It's pretty exciting.
Oh yeah.
Also.
A lot of Clone Wars and voice actors coming back.
And that's on
we get Ashley back. 26, I believe.
26.
I think it's 26. It's a Wednesday. Yeah, it's 26.
Man, we're getting some Star Wars. We are getting spoiled. I am here for it.
I just can't believe. I can't believe they got Liam Neeson back. Are we gonna get
Andor and Tales of Jedi on the same day?
Yeah.
Nice.
Unless they skip a day for Andor, but I doubt it.
I doubt that.
There's going to be a little overlapping until Andor finishes.
Because I know everything else is finishing up this week right now that we're watching.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9.
Rings of Power
Lord
is
of the Ring. Yeah,
over.
Rings of
She-Hulk's
Power is
over.
no.
Isn't House of the Dragon is one more episode or two?
I don't
Man,
remember the
She-Hulk.
count. I
Dude.
know
She-Hulk was
I know it's
nuts.
supposed to end soon because it's supposed to end right when the Dance of Dragons is supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we get all this build up and then we have to wait like 2 years. Give me more dragon content.
Hey, I don't care. Screw all of you guys. Just give me the acolyte. I don't care about your dragons. I don't care about your elves. Y'all can get cut up with a lightsaber.
I have read some of those books, and
just give me my
Dance of the
acolyte.
Dragons is kind of rough. I hope you're not attached to any of those characters.
Yeah, don't get attached to anybody.
No, this is straight up a history, and I'm just ready for
at the end of Dance of Dragons, pretty much they all die.
Yeah, she has one of the history books that has like family lines and stuff, and she's already been telling me like, "Oh, don't worry, none of these people live."
Yeah, they all die a very gruesome death, pretty much.
You know, the Targaryens and the Skywalkers would get along famously. They all lose limbs and body parts and die a lot in battle. They'd get along so well. A lot of burning. You know, they'd get along great. They hate sand, I'm sure. No, but to me, honestly, I think the Old Republic could be a saving grace, and the High Republic is proving that going back, going into a deeper part of the mystique and the mystery and the creations and stuff. Like I want a Samarillius of Star Wars. What really is the creation?
The acolyte goes well, and you can show that we can go further back without disrupt. I hope that it's well and fans take it, and then Disney's like, yeah, we can actually leave this time frame for once.
Right.
We could do something different.
And if they leave the time frame and want to go in the future, that's fine too. Do the 9th Jedi from Star Wars Visions, where the Sith have taken over and now the Jedi are trying to like fight their way back or something. That storyline and that arc was phenomenal. It was so good.
Do it.
Like I just want to leave the era where the movies are.
Yes, I'm so done. I love them and I'll watch them to death.
Honestly,
bye.
I could do a little bit before. I could do before episode 3. I would be satisfied with that. But I would like to go before that. I mean, the Clone Wars is great. I would like to see a little bit more of the Clone Wars era.
We all love Clone Wars.
Because we didn't really get too much of that. We got the series, and the movie was, it was a movie.
I take more Mando over Clone Wars at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Mando freak, but I want Sith. Sith power, dark side, cookies.
The thing is, the worst part about the Mando is it's at the time where the Mandalorians are at its lowest.
Yeah.
And there's
could be bringing him back.
There's Mandalorians. There's tons of them.
Yeah.
So we should. Let's
get a live action Shea Vizsla. That'd be so cool.
It's
some drop dead gorgeous redhead
love,
fucking murking
Mando
people.
History and more of that.
Oh, dude, Tar Vizsla, see something about him. That would be so good, and I'm here for any of it. And that's the beauty of it. We've set up such a gorgeous world. If you want to make the most easy, sellable, fan servicey, but digestible thing in the world, do it about old lore. The problem is though, you just have to make sure you don't fucking destroy it. Tar Vizsla can't create the dark sword for love. Dark saber, yeah, whatever. But yeah, Tar Vizsla doesn't create the dark saber to save his gay lover. Tar Vizsla creates the dark saber to dominate Mandalore and be a Jedi.
The Old Republic would make a ton of people excited. It would bring a lot of people in the Star Wars, but it would make a lot of fans unhappy if they're not. Well, it's probably why they haven't done it.
Right, I know.
It's literally a minefield because the one wrong thing and
no one will agree because we all have a different version of Darth Revan when we played him as a kid on the Xbox. So
that's why they need to make a show with it, because then we can have a definitive version.
Yeah, and if
it's not your exact ideal, oh well, you didn't work for Star Wars.
True.
There is kind of some definitive versions with, because they did a couple books and stuff with them. But everybody has their own view. I mean, that's with all of Star Wars anyways. Everybody has their own view of Star Wars.
That's very true.
Everybody feels like Star Wars is their way, and if not, I'm gonna go
Herbert
online and be
Gerber,
upset about.
right.
See, and that's the thing that a lot of people need to understand. It's not going to be your exact vision because you aren't the one writing it.
Right. That is
You
the
can
truth.
have an idea and you can have a goal for what it'll be. Unless you're actually writing or doing something at Lucasfilm and at Star Wars, you don't get a say in it.
Yeah.
It's a hard pill
True.
to swallow, but
No,
that's what it is.
But that's what it is. That's what it is. I totally agree.
Hey, at least we didn't. I'm not saying the show's bad, but at least we didn't get a Star Wars version of the Rings of Power where they just rewrote everything.
Oh,
Okay. I have a whole thing I can go on that.
I'm not saying I hate the show or anything. I'm not saying anything about that. I'm saying at least we didn't get that version in Star Wars. Well, it's that they didn't condense it. They changed a lot of the key lore. They changed.
You don't have to condense. That's stupid. You shouldn't have to condense because Star Wars fans, we prove to you, yes, over the course of 30 years, we will sit here and watch.
They literally rewrote lore and characters and changed a lot of stuff. Star Wars fans would have.
So far, it hasn't happened too much in Star Wars, but if they start touching the old stuff, that's exactly when it does happen.
Hopefully, we don't get it in that majority the way they've done it in that show.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't hate the show. I think the show would have been better if it wasn't Lord of the Rings. To be honest, like I think it would have been better if it's its own show. But that's getting off track.
Yeah.
I just hope we don't get that with Star Wars because a lot of people do.
Screw your elves.
You think we get
screw your dragons
articles and comments now about how bad Andor is? Imagine if we did get a show like that.
Oh yeah, it would have been. Oh man, if Andor hadn't slapped as hard, people would have been bitching so much. I'm happy for my own sanity that Andor is this good. Not only because it helps Star Wars and it helps the community be way more positive, but just for the sake that I don't have to listen to trolls as much because they're pleased right now. Oh yeah, boom boom bang, shoot him up. Stupid little Frenchy feely guy died. Ha, bang bang.
Like you didn't even watch the original movies.
Right, exactly. So that was a good one though. Again though, guys, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Help the channel, spread the love. We are going to continue, of course, the podcast every Friday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, for you on the Ducks Download channel. Follow me over at TikTok as well. And I will be doing a fun giveaway here very soon. So I will be doing the live announcement right now, just saying that we will have some stretch goals to 100, 150, 300. I have some ideas. I'll be sharing that on TikTok and on YouTube. So be sure to get ready for that short video and get ready for that fun giveaway to boost the channel and the community.
If you don't show up, I'm gonna win it. So
yeah. Then I gotta send it to Mike, and he's gonna put it in the background, and he's gonna display it like, "Ooh, look what I got." So be sure to stay tuned and hit that bell for notifications too. Just get all of it out of the way, so that way you're all set up. And as we always will end things. May the Force serve you well.
And may the Force be with you. And for the Republic!
For Light and Life. There we go. That's the High Republic one. For Light and Life. Wait for it to end. There's that. I gotta save here for the Republic. That was a good one. There we go. All right.